So now we have the Tenet class. Actually, the Tenet class, the last time we almost finished the Swatantratika, so we ready to start. We finished Vabhashika, also we almost halfway of Swatantratika, right? Swatantratika. So
yeah, and the contaminated and uncontaminated of.
So anyway, so some of the students say, so they really want to study tennis, then we restart tennis again. Unfortunately, most of them not able to attend the tennis class. So, so I will just go through the tennis. So, please let everybody, let them know when they are free, if they have a time, please join the class. Even though, there are some activities here and there, they must try to come the class. So because we start the class, tennis class, especially the people who really want to attend, but most of them didn't come the class. There's no reason I can, teach again and again. So okay, just now, just everybody, just listen. Don't look at the paper. I will review the tenets of Vibhashika. So we have 4 schools. The first one, the Vibhashika or Great Exposition School. It is 3 parts: definition, sub-school, and etymology and assertion. Yes, it's a 4 parts. First, definition, then sub-school, etymology, and assertion. And assertion is as a 2 parts: assertion regarding object, assertion regarding subject. And I mentioned you, all subjects are object. Object are not necessarily be subjects. For example, the table is object, it never be subject. According, assertion regarding objects and assertion regarding object possessor. So all the objects, according to this school, include into 5 basic categories. That means all phenomena must include into basic 5 categories. The first one, appearing forms. That means the external forms or inner forms, whatever, all the matters include into appearing forms. The minds, that means usually there's 6 minds. Chidamantra school claim that there are 8 minds, but this school accept only 6 minds. The 5 minds, or the depends very much on the 5 aggregates. The 6th one is beyond the 5 aggregates. We have 6 minds. Then accompanying mental factors. As 52 or 51s, there's more numbers. Then compositional factors is include all sentient beings as well as all the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, including the compositional factor non-associated. The conditioned phenomena which is not form neither man and mental factor must include into compositional factor not associated. Subject. So all objects include into 5 categories. Then the 5 objects are things. Then there's a definition of things that which is able to perform a function. It is the definition of things. This means according to Vipassika school, all phenomena are things because they able to perform a function. Then existent object, existent one. The second, object of knowledge. Third, things are mutually inclusive. This means things are object of knowledge. All object of knowledge are existent, as well as object of knowledge are things. It's not separate. They are just kind of mutually inclusive. Then in object we can divide into few different ways. There are division of object into two truths. There's been all objects divided into two truths. And also all object divided into contaminated and uncontaminated phenomena. So we have ultimate truth and conventional truth, contaminated phenomena and uncontaminated phenomena. Then there's another kind of topic regarding this discussion of object. There is a teaching of other ancillary topic. Okay, so last time we talked about two truths according to Vipassika school and this school. The name is same, ultimate truth and conventional truth. So if this used an ultimate truth, okay, the first we need to know the definition of the two truths. The two truths, the definition of conventional truth is a phenomenon which is such that when it is break up or mentally separated into individual parts, the awareness apprehending the object is cancelled. So according to this school, okay, all phenomena must include into two truths, ultimate and conventional truth. So what does mean conventional truth? What does mean the ultimate truth? The rough idea, the phenomena which is break up, we can just break, we can make it separate by practically, or we can make it separated into mentally individual parts. For example, the table, we can just break up the upper parts and lower parts, and then there's no more table. And also you can separate it by mentally. When you do this kind of analysis, then you finally you can, if you think, oh, the table is not there, there's no more table, that means the table is conventional truth. Then they give example, the rosary is a conventional truth, example of conventional truths. Awareness apprehending the object or rosary is cancelled, no more there. The next, the definition of ultimate truth is a phenomenon is opposite, okay? a phenomena which is such as that when it is broken up or mentally separated into individual parts, the consciousness apprehending the object is not cancelled. The ultimate truth, when you try to broken up by practically, you cannot, broken up, or you cannot, make it separated by mentally. That means the object is always there, and the object possessor, the subject is always there. That means the object is ultimate truth. Then they give, illustration of the ultimate truth are directionally partless particles, temporary partless moment of consciousness, and uncompounded space. Those are the illustration of ultimate truth. The last time that I talk about directionally partless particles. So then I draw, kind of map. You just imagine, there are 6 particles in one place. 4 particles in the 4 direction, and 2 particles, one is up, one is one down. In the middle, there is another particle. Just 7 particles. The 6th particle is surrounded. Middle of the particle is surrounded by the 6 other particles. Okay. This means, there are 7 people. One person in the middle. So 7 people is around. So in the middle person can touch to the eastern part of person, eastern person, and the middle person also can touch to the western person, northern and southern too. When the middle person touch to the eastern person, and that time the touch part is not touching to the west person, because they take huge space. It's very gross. The particle is so subtle. It's so subtle, even though we have to imagine, but we cannot touch the particle. So that 6 particle, the 1 particle surrounded by 6 particle. When the middle particle touched to the eastern particles, at that same time, the middle particle also touched to the east, west, south, up and down. That means we cannot say this is the eastern side of the particle, this is the western side of the particle. There's no, the direction. This is eastern direct, west and north is so small. That's why they say directionally partless particles. So that the matter, the subtle matters is the ultimate truth. It cannot, broke up by practically. It cannot, make it separated by mentally. It is so subtle, so small. This ultimate truth is always there. The mind was always there. Ultimate truth. The next one, temporarily partless moment. Consciousness. So, external phenomena, for example, the nature, the woods, the water, they has a continuum. The sound, they have a source where it's come from. The sound, for example, look at the sound is coming from the table and my finger, and also force by sound is coming from table and hand and force. And after the sound remains maybe continuously few minutes, then the sound is no more there. That means the sound doesn't have a the next continuum. The sound has a source where it comes from, but that doesn't have a the next continuum. Sound. Otherwise, all external matters, inner matter has a continuum. Then consciousness, consciousness has always continuum. It's coming from somewhere, it's continuous going somewhere. So here, temporarily partless moment, consciousness. For example, eyes consciousness arises just 1 minute. Okay, just example, okay, the eyes consciousness or anger, let's say anger, arises 1 minute. The 1 minute anger, we can divide into 60 seconds, right? 60 seconds. That means there's a 1 second anger, 2 second anger, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60 duration, anger with a 60 second duration. Within the 60 seconds, we just pick 1 second, 2 seconds. Within the 60, we just pick up 1 second anger, we pick up one anger with a 1 second duration. The 1 second duration, we can divide into more subtle moment. And finally, you can find that kind of consciousness. We cannot make it more. We cannot make it divide into another duration. It is very subtle time. That's why this called temporarily partless moment of consciousness. That type of consciousness is ultimate truth. And also you should not think, this is kind of the definition of ultimate truth in generally. It is the definition of according to Discourse. The next one, uncompounded space is ultimate truth. It's always there. We cannot, break it up by practically. We cannot break up by mentally. This means that the space is always there. The space is ultimate truth. Now we know kind of the definition. So last time we have a huge kind of we have a difficulty of understanding of contaminated phenomena. So do you remember the definition of contaminated phenomena?
Any phenomena that is amenable to the increase of contaminations from the point of view of being either an object of observation or an concomitant.
Yeah. So it has many parts. Okay. So in Tibetan is because as a Tibetan very easy to understand in Tibetan. In English. But when they translate into English, it always become difficult to understand. One, the language is difficult. Second, when they translate into English, the meaning is totally changed. So what does mean contaminated phenomena? For example, this table is contaminated phenomena according to Discourse. This table is not kind of consciousness, no mind, no mental factor. Still, this is contaminated phenomena. Because the observer, when they look at the table, the observer has increased the kind of negative thoughts due to just look at the table. That means the table is source of increasing negative thoughts. That's why one reason this is a contaminated phenomena. All the external phenomena, include the human being or the person is also contaminated phenomena because it increases negative thoughts to the observer. Right? For example, when you see your disliked person, when you meet kind of your enemy, suddenly you got angry. The anger is increasing automatically. Then moment the anger increase because due to the object of the enemy. But just that reason, just doesn't mean that the person is contributed phenomena because the person increase anger within in your mind. Then the another part here, look at phenomena that's amenable to increase of contamination from the point of view of being one reason, right? That's when this table is contamination form, because point of view of being just is being as an object of the conscious of the negative affect emotion. Then the next parts being either an object of observation or concomitant. Yeah, concomitant. That means the afflictive emotion increase, it increase, become more stronger due to the observe, just due to the look at the object. That means, so think about boiling water. Then let's say somebody boiling water. Somebody is boiling water. The water is boiling. The temperature is increasing. Why the temperature increase? Due to the fire. That's why the fire is very hot. That's why they increase the temperature. So when you look at the object, beautiful object, suddenly the beautiful object increase attachment in your mind. The attachment become very stronger and stronger. Why? Because that moment you are just absorbed, just look at the beautiful object. That means the beautiful object is contaminated because it increases attachment in your mind. When you look at the ugliness ugly object, or when you see your enemy, suddenly the anger increases because that moment your mind just absorb or look at the enemy or the ugliness, just increase the anger or hatred. This just due to the look at the object. The second, so attachment is always negative, mind or negative thoughts or negative consciousness. Attachment, anger, hatred, and is always negative. The five minds. The minds which depends on the five elements, or the mind which just depends on the sixth mind. The mind is kind of is like kind of pure piece of cloth. If you put the white cloth in the yellow color, that piece of cloth become white color, white become yellow. You put the white piece of cloth, the black is become black. This means it became a black because is put into the color, black color. Because the bigger cloth is become yellow because we put in the yellow color. The white piece of cloth become yellow because of the color. That means your mind is generally is neutral, no positive, nor negative. It's very neutral. Your mind can be positive, you can be negative, you can be very neutral. It's not depends on the mind, it depends on the mental factors. For example, this moment when you're listening the Dharma teaching, when you just look at the Buddha's statue, your mind become positive. Your mind became wholesome. Next, when this moment your mind become wholesome because of the faith of the Buddha. Your mind become wholesome because you have a belief in Dharma. So the believing Dharma, the mental factor change your mind into positive. The faith, which is you have faith towards Buddha, the faith, change your mind as a positive. That moment your mind become positive, also the positive mind increasing due to the faith or due to the belief. Suddenly when you get angry towards someone, then your mind become negative. When the anger increasing, at the same time your negative mind also increase in the negative ways because of the mental factors. That's why you say here concomitant is mean kind of due to kind of partner, right? So mind is very neutral. Due to the positive mental factors, the mind become positive. Due to the negative mental factors, the mind become negatives. So that moment is not just the mind is focusing to the object, it's because of the mental factors. So that means accept, okay. Accept the true truth, true path, true path.
TRUE,
true path. Let's say, in Tibetan say, Lamden, ultimate path, Lam Yedemba. Accept the ultimate path or the true path. Otherwise, all conditioned phenomena are contaminated phenomena. Okay, our physical body, the universe, everything is contaminated phenomena except the true path.
Can you explain what is the true path?
According to this school, they don't really accept they don't have the system. They don't have a concept about emptiness.
Yes.
But they have a concept about selflessness.
Yes.
Selflessness. Right now, everybody try to meditate on selflessness. So, somebody meditate on selflessness in the right way, somebody meditate on emptiness in the wrong way, the right way or correct way. Somehow everybody try to meditate on selflessness. That moment, you are just making a concept in your mind, because you don't have an experience of selflessness, right? You just heard about selflessness, but you have an experience about impermanence. As we can see, in the gross level of impermanence, also we can see the subtle level of impermanence. We have some experience about impermanence, but nobody doesn't. We don't have any experience about selflessness. Right from the beginning, when you meditate on selflessness, how you have to meditate on selflessness? Think about just person, yourself. For example, I am Lobsang Yonten. We never think about how I am exist. how I act. I know, my hand is acting this and that. That's this way and that way. But me, we never think how I act. Also, when I drink tea, yes, I put water in my mouth. My mouth is not me. But I never know how I drink. So if you think this way, yes, my all physical parts are not me. It's definitely not me. And all my mental parts, or minds and mental parts, in fact, is not any part is not me. Because me and you, we since we born, we always there. If I am anger, then sometimes my anger remains very unconscious level. But I always remain in very visible way. So that means all parts of my mind is not me. I am not minds. Mind is not me. I am not the physical body. Physical body is not me. So within the minds or emotions or the physical body, then there's not I. Just look yourself. You have only two things. The physical body or the matter parts, and the kind of consciousness or emotion parts. Apart the physical body and the mind, there's no eyes. You just think this way, then you're going to get some sort of understanding of selflessness. Selflessness. Based on this experience, you just meditate on, yes, I'm not in a physical body, nor the consciousness. Apart two of them, I'm not there. I'm truly depends on 5 aggregates, right? 5 aggregates. And the formless being, they only depend on 4 aggregates, because they don't possess the gross, don't possess the physical body. So we depends on the 5 aggregates. So I'm just kind of, there's a 5 aggregates. Based on that, there's just somebody input the name as person or name as Yonten. So with this, about the 5 aggregates,
mere designation.
Yeah, just mere designation, not I'm not there. You just need to get some idea. You need you really need the right understanding of selflessness. Then you have to increase the understanding more and more. Finally, your mind is more closer to the selflessness. One day, your mind can see the selflessness is very clearly. That moment, you are totally absorbed. Okay, meditate on selflessness without any kind of image of selflessness. That moment, for example, you go to see the pure selflessness. That kind of path is called true path. Because it's so pure. That moment, the path is very pure because they truly see the selflessness. And that moment, the mind is totally meditate on selflessness. Not any other emotion can influence to the paths. That's being called the true paths.
Only true path is uncontaminated
among the conditioned phenomena. Okay, so this is very unique concept Vibhashika. That's why, so we, I think this is, that's why I think there's according to, I heard, but I never see any kind of books, I never heard from the, real person. According to Theravada, they're not allowed to do pray to the Buddha body. Buddha body is kind of a nature of suffering. For example, so Buddha Shakyamuni, he was born in the noble families. That his body was, produced by parents. It's totally kind of, nature of flesh or bones and blood. So there's no reason we can just pray to the body. It's not, object of the, praying, object of offering. That's why this have to be abandoned. That's why, this is a contaminated phenomenon. The true path is only the uncontaminated phenomena. The opposite is same in the definition.
So, Geshe, the next part is saying the three uncompounded phenomena. That will be the directional partless particles, temporary partless moment of consciousness, and uncompounded space are the three uncompounded phenomena.
No.
It's not.
Because the directional partless particle is the not uncontaminated phenomenon, it's a compounded phenomena.
It's a compounded phenomenon.
And the consciousness, the kind of the temporarily partless consciousness also not uncompounded phenomena. This also compounded phenomena.
Okay.
Yeah, the three mentioned here, they mentioned three uncompounded phenomena. One is the space.
Yes.
Other one is analytical cessation and non-analytical cessation. Okay, cessation has a two, analytical cessation and non-analytical cessation.
Right.
But the meaning, okay, analytical cessation is not the same meaning, analytical meditation. It's not same meaning, but just you know, there's a two types of cessation: analytical cessation and non-analytical cessation. So cessation, okay. So among the Four Noble Truths, the truth of suffering, origin of suffering, the paths are compounded phenomena. The cessation is uncompounded phenomena. Cessation is the kind of, permanent phenomena. So do you think anybody have an idea why cessation is, uncompounded phenomena? Cessation. Just everybody just think, I am going to get some, your individual concept about cessation individually. So
what is cease is non-existent? What is cease is non-existent?
Cease, cessation we need to know two. One is what we cease. When someone achieves nirvana, even though when you reach to the seeing path, you cease, some amount of negative affliction. Then there's one cessation, but it's not, truly cessation. So when we say cessation, we need to know two, the basis of cessation, what we going to cease, where we going to cease. Let's say, we burn fire, we burn a paper. We say, I burn a paper. So we burn and paper, where we burn in fire, right? So cessation, Arjuna said, cessation, we cease, we cease or we eliminate the affiliate emotions or ignorance. But, okay, before, so I explained that, so Ochu, what do you think, why cessation is uncompounded phenomena. Among the Four Noble Truths, first three truths are the compounded, they are impermanence. But the only one, cessation, is the permanent. How?
Why you say because it's non-existent, there's no more there?
If no more there, then non-existent.
Okay.
If non-existent phenomena never be permanent, because look at, it's so difficult to say, let's in an easy way, all selflessness phenomena or selflessness divided into two categories, existent and non-existent. Okay, selflessness. That means existent phenomena are selflessness, the non-existent phenomena also selflessness. So Osho say, existence, cessation is permanent because cessation will no more exist there. If there no more exist, we cannot say it's a permanent. If something is permanent, they have to be existent. They have to be, exist. Okay, now Sonam, why cessation is uncompounded phenomena? It's very important, we have to know.
Because compounded phenomena, it means you are making it has parts. Compound, you put together. But cessation is not something that things put together and it becomes something come to existence by it is not come to existence by conditions or other things put together. So which is why it is non-compounded.
Okay, yeah. So Sonam says uncompounded. Compounded meaning many things bring together and make something. Compounding together. So cessation we cannot bring many pieces and make something. Okay. So Koinji, what do you think cessation is uncompounded phenomena?
There's no obstruction.
Obstruction. Okay.
There's
Lack of obstruct.
yes.
And what about you?
Why cessation is uncompounded because there is no condition exists anymore. When there's no condition exists anymore, so there's nothing to put together.
Okay. Same as I said, a similar thought with the Sonam.
Actually, I don't know.
And your idea, just think, you don't have to accurate, right? Don't have to be very accurate. Close to is okay.
Because sensation is permanent because it's there, but it's uncompounded sensation because it can happen without any causes or something. It happened. I feel that it's permanent.
Mhm.
I may not be accurate.
No. Look at right now, we have a truth of suffering. We have a origin of suffering. Let's say we have kinds of parts, that kind of fat and practice kind of part, but we don't have cessation. When you become a Buddha or Arha, so you achieve cessation. So cessation is comfort. How we can say achieve? We achieve, we got, we get. How we can achieve? Okay, everybody has a kind of good thoughts, but the good example, I think Mitriya Buddha explained in the Gulama, I don't know in English. So one he give it mentioned in the text, cessation is look like disappear cloud in the sky. You can say right now we can see this huge cloud in the sky. We can say huge S haze, sky, haze. Somehow, due to different, factors, the clouds disappear. Disappear where? Disappear where? Disappear in the sky. Disappear where?
Being absent
Being absent where?
from sky.
In
From obstructions from sky. So sky, and then there's haze.
yeah,
If
that's
disappear, then-
disappear cloud in the sky, and sky is not separate. There's a cloud. When the cloud is no more there, then it's like a pure sky. Lack of when the cloud is totally not there, then just because this is sky, very pure or clear sky. So I think it's very, very important. We cease or we eliminate the afflictive emotion. Okay, there's two meaning. Okay, please everybody keep in your mind. It's very important. When you meditate on the selflessness, due to practice of selflessness, the afflictive emotion disappear. One reason. It's a Tongpa, it's, I can say it is similar with Tongpa Niti Kapagyu. We cease, we're going to cease all the afflictive emotion due to practice of selflessness. One. Second, we're going to cease the afflictive emotion based on selflessness. Based on selflessness.
Sorry, Geshe, repeat again the sentence.
Yeah. Afflictive emotion going to cease by practice of selflessness. One. Second, afflictive emotion going to cease where? Cease based on selflessness. Based on selflessness.
Okay.
So that means, the first telling us the methods, the antidotes of selflessness. So, antidotes of afflictive emotion, special antidotes of ignorance. Second is us telling, after long term you practice selflessness, finally the all afflictive emotion, ignorance going to disappear within the selflessness. Selflessness. So, selflessness is like sky. Sky. All the afflictive emotions and ignorance look like cloud. When the cloud disappears, it's disappeared in the sky. The disappeared parts of cloud and sky is not separate. Disappear afflictive emotion, ignorance in the selflessness, and selflessness is not separate. That's why selflessness itself is uncompounded phenomena. That's why cessation is uncompounded phenomena. Selflessness is uncompounded phenomena. That's why cessation is uncompounded phenomena. Because that moment when you achieve cessation, that moment cessation is not separate than the selflessness of mind. Selflessness of mind is not separate than the cessation. Then because same time when you meditate on emptiness, so I am talking about according to the Madhyamaka school. When we say in order to eliminate negative emotion, ignorance, we say there's so many antidotes. The best one, you meditate on emptiness. Which emptiness? Meditate emptiness of the table, emptiness of the pot, emptiness of the things. Which emptiness I must meditate on? They say you must meditate emptiness on mind, emptiness of mind. you can meditate on your body, speech. The best one, you must meditate on emptiness of mind. Because finally, when you eliminate affect emotion, you have to eliminate, within the emptiness of mind. So that means, emptiness of the mind is not separate than the cessation. Cessation is not separate than the emptiness of the mind when you achieve nirvana. That's why cessation is, permanent. There are two types of cessation. So it's, we just is related to the cessation. Two types. Or in cessation or nyangde, two types of cessation.
Analytical and non-analytical.
Yeah, sota mini goba. Or la nyangde la nyangde. So nyangde la nyangde, because according to Theravada tradition, there's a big difficulty to recognize the two types of cessation. Lache Nyangde. For example, the practitioners who are alive, they achieve nirvana. For example, Buddha Shakyamuni, Buddha Shakyamuni, according to Theravada tradition, historically, they believe Buddha Shakyamuni achieved nirvana under the Buddha tree. So until his death, until he passed nirvana, so he always with the
Physical body.
Yeah, the physical body which is contaminated. That moment he have a cessation. It is non lajing yangde. So lajing yangde. Analytical cessation. When he just take a parinirvana, when he pass away, then he achieve non-analytical cessation. So according to Theravada, I'm saying there's a difficulty because according to Theravada tradition, when Buddha took into parinirvana, so this is the last point. Then there's no more consciousness. So this is the last last time of the life.
Final point.
Or final point of the life. There's no more consciousness, no more Buddha. So then we ask question, who really achieved the non-analytical cessation? When he alive, he didn't he haven't achieved non-analytical cessation. When he passed away, there's no more consciousness, it's lost. So there's nobody achieved non-analytical cessation. So that's what is related to there. Okay, so there's a three types of uncontaminated phenomena.
Sorry, he's written here on uncompounded phenomena.
Uncompounded phenomena. Yeah, that means within the compounded phenomena, only the true part is the uncontaminated phenomena. Within the uncompounded phenomena, there are three are the only uncontaminated phenomena.
So although there is only four, there's only four that is uncontaminated phenomena.
Yeah, that's right.
So 3 from uncompounded and 1 from compounded.
Yeah. Next, and then we have to say similar then they explain this. So the opposite, the definition is the opposite of the definition of contaminated phenomena is definition of uncontaminated phenomena.
That's what it says.
Yeah, the definition of uncontaminated object is a phenomena that is not amenable to the increase of contamination from the point of view, from the point of being either an object of observation or mental, concomitant.
Mental concomitant.
Yeah, the two paths and uncompounded phenomena are illustration. So you know that the example are. Then all contaminated objects are to be abandoned, subject to be abandoned. That means, the cessation is the achievement. Otherwise, the Buddha body, the physical body is also contaminated phenomena. They have to abandon. All other the accumulation parts, preparation part, within the seeing paths, the two paths is not, abandoned. Otherwise, all paths have to be abandoned. Even the two paths of the accumulation, preparation paths to be, the first two. So, within the seeing paths, there are 16 different, 16 different levels.
Because there are three beings, right? The Stravakas, Pradika Buddhas, and Buddhas.
What?
So you mentioned the 12 parts.
16 different level of seeing paths. Or,
Oh, okay.
16 or 15. Within the Vibhashika, there are 16, within the 16, 15 include into seeing path. The 16, number 16th, 15 include into seeing path. The 16th include into the meditation paths. The first two paths are differently abandoned. Within the seeing paths, all the seeing paths are two paths. Two paths, they are not abandoned, not going to be abandoned. The part of accumulation and preparation are not actual antidotes to afflictive emotion, and thus do not eliminate them. They are virtues of common being and therefore suitable to increase the desire. This kind of, I think, extra one. The part of seeing is completely uncontaminated. Okay, the seeing part. Within the 5 parts, first 2 parts, have to be abandoned because first 2 parts are contaminated phenomena, contaminated parts. Only the seeing part is, the uncontaminated phenomena, not going to be abandoned. Within the meditation parts, there's a two, contaminated and uncontaminated. Look at parts of meditation and part of no more learning. Both have an instance of contaminated and uncontaminated parts. No more learning parts, we have to understand the meaning. According to Theravada traditions, there are 3 final paths.
Yeah.
The solitary paths also final paths, and the solitary Dilasa path also final path, and the Hira path also final paths, Bodhisattva path also final paths. For example, among us, some of you just follow the Hira paths from the renunciation, preparation, and the meditation and no more learning paths. When you achieve nirvana, then you're not going to practice bodhicitta. It's your funnel. It's funnel. Why is called funnel? Because after you achieve nirvana, after you pass away, then you're not going to born in samsara by by karma or by merit, pure merit. Because you totally eliminate all the negative affliction, also eliminate all the negative karma or positive karma. So you're not going to born again in samsara, or you're not going to born anywhere, because you totally cease the origin of kind of born. There's no more any cause. It's very final. And here are solitary relays are part of sense is final. According to Mahayana tradition, okay, among us, some are just first we practice the hira path. Go through, achieve nirvana, remains in the nirvana for many years, or you meditate on
selflessness,
whatever, then finally you're going to realize, yes, even though I achieve nirvana, but I not really accomplish my full goal. Even though they can feel I have something, I'm still experience some kind of suffering. Then finally, some of the Buddha going to tell them, okay, you mean you are not really fully achieved your goal, you must practice bodhicitta. Then they will start again practice of bodhicitta. Then finally they are going to achieve Buddhahood. So after achieve Buddhahood, in the common sense, an ordinary person can see, Buddha pass away. In the reality, Buddha never going to be in parinirvana. He always remains forever. But it doesn't mean the Buddha become kind of permanent, because I mentioned you before, we have to die, right? We have to die, we have to go, because we wish our mind is so strong. Our emotions are so strong, even though when we are 80 or 90, 100 years old, our anger is very strong, attachment is very strong, in wishing are very strong, man are very strong. They really want to sit another 100 years. But the physical body never go, it never support us. It's too, kind of old. Finally, we really want to breathe, our lungs become very weak. We really want to eat, our digestion, the system is very weak. Finally, we have to give up this body. So Buddha, look at the person who achieved Buddhahood, they are not rely on what? The physical body, the gross body. They are only depends on the subtle energy. So in order to understand the subtle energy, in order to utilize the subtle energy, in order to having the subtle body, then I mentioned you many times, then you have to practice the Tantrayana paths. And the Sutrayana never mentioned how to rely on the subtle body, how you can use the subtle body, how you can achieve the subtle body. So that's why, this reason, due to all this reason, then, Buddha never going to take parinirvana. They can remain forever, because they don't have any obstacle to destroy the subtle body. Right? Also look at, now we say, I'm sick. Actually the person never get kind of any sick. But when we physical body has a problem, then we say, I'm sick. I'm hungry, I feel cold, I feel hot. Actually body become hot, body need a water, body need a food. Then we say, I need. If you, in the future, if you're able to utilize the subtle body, you don't need anything. You don't need house, food, clothes, nothing. So, the Buddha, someone achieve Buddhahood, then there's no, reason to, take parinirvana, go pass away. So it is related to the nirvana. or related to the cessation. That's why I say cessation is what we going to cease, how we going to cease, where we going to cease. Burn something. Burn what? Burn paper. Where going to burn? Burn in fire. How? You put the paper in the fire. The fire is look like all the practices are look like fire. Burning paper in fire is look like all the negative emotions cease in selflessness or emptiness. How then you practice? There are two types of things. Then next one, meditation and past no more learning both have an instance of the contaminated and uncontaminated. Okay, how you can understand the meditation path has two categories, two types, contaminated paths and uncontaminated paths. Here then we have to learn then worldly paths, okay, worldly paths, beyond the worldly paths. So we have been here about meditation, So meditation, there's two types of meditation. One is we call worldly meditation, jiten belam. Second, because beyond the worldly paths, jiten le de belam. According to Buddhist tradition, we claim all the Hindu practitioners, they practice worldly paths, samsaric paths. Okay, samsaric paths or worldly paths, jiten belam. Why we say? Because we are not just saying, I'm Buddhist, we are the superior, they are not superior. Their path is the worldly path. When you look at the practice of Hindu tradition, all the meditation, all the methods just teach you how to achieve, they teach you, practice of grossness and practice of subtleness. Jira ke number jira or pist, so there are three kind of realm, right? The desire realm, form realm, then formless. Within the formless realms, there are four different levels. Last one, the tip of the samsara. Do you remember when we studied about tips? The tip, finally the highest levels of the samsara. Highest. When you practice the Hindu meditation, all the practice, it just teach you how you to achieve, the highest level of, happiness in the samsara. So desire, form and formless. Within the formless, there are four, levels. So also they teach you how you can, meditate on, how you can achieve vipassana, shamatha. No, even though they don't mention about the vipassana, just shamatha. For example, I'll give you a very easy example, okay? There are two restaurants next to your door. This door. One cook really good food. One, doesn't cook really good food. But you have a desire, both of them. You have a desire about the good food, also you have a desire about the not good food. based on your economic conditions. Then you don't have that enough money to buy the food from the the good restaurant. You really want to buy, but you don't have money. What you need to do? You need to think about the bad quality, of the good restaurant. Yes, look nice. The food is coming from some country, so and so, so and so. Oh, you always keep thinking. And finally, you're not going to buy. You're not going to go to the nice restaurant. You can see the false sea. That's when Now we have a very strong desire in the desire realm. Everything that we see beautiful. What we eat, we think it's so nice, so tasty, so good, so good, so good. Then you need to think, there is not really good. There's another, realm, desire, form. They have a more beautiful, object, more, nice. Everything is nicer than here. If you think this way again and again, finally you're going to have a, kind of sense of disgust in the desire realm. You will have a really strong, going to achieve this level. That's why they teach you how to reduce desire in this realm, how to increase desire in the form. When you reach that level, they also teach you how to reduce the desire and attachment to the form realm, how to increase the attachment to the formless. So this will go worldly, worldly paths, because the result is going to be only the samsaric result. So in order to know that, then you have to learn, 17. In the form, there's 17 level. Form based of form 4 levels. Desire has 6 levels. Total, 36, 37, something.
Page 213.
Okay, yeah, you are mentioned here, right? Page 213, right? 213. Yeah, there's a chart. 213. 213?
213.
Oh, 213. Yeah. It was peak of the cyclic existence. Peak. Yeah. So just look at the chart and you can see how many level here. Desire realm has a formless, form, desire. It's divided into the 16, parts. Anyway, so I have a, chart. So next I will give you the copy. I think we can just stop here. Okay, so we're going to stop here. So